advantage of as many opportunities as we can. Okay, so my name is Eileen Wilson. I'm the Department Leadership Chair this year. So while I'm busy trying to schedule ABC schools and everything, we want to make sure that you are aware of all the other training opportunities that are out there. So today I wanted to talk about the national website and all the online training that's available. I purposely did not put the handouts in the back of the room. Some people will come in and see a handout and just pick it up and we'll just go on our way and go to another class. So I didn't want that to happen. So we wanted to at least make sure everybody had some information, but obviously I didn't want to put all the information on the handout, so that's why you have some notes on the side. My notes may not be what you're interested in. Your notes need to be meaningful to you and not to me so you can interpret them later. As members of the auxiliary, it's our job not only to carry out our mission, but to share whatever knowledge we have. Okay? And we're going to gain that knowledge in lots of ways. Whether it's through someone that's mentoring you and you're going forward, if you have a position that you're stepping down from, unit president, treasurer, district president, okay? Whoever was previously in that position, whether it's immediately past or several years past, needs to be there and help mentor you and go through that, okay? Be there to help you, hold your hand, answer questions. But you also need to take your own initiative and find out what other training is available and those that interest you. Obviously, some of us may have a passion for children and youth. And, you know, that goes into juniors, it goes into education. It may be community service. It may be DA&R, okay? But whatever that is, you know, how much knowledge do you have about those programs? And where are you going to get that knowledge? A lot of it is like on-the-job training and that. But, you know, there are other avenues out there, such as Fall Conference, Schools of Instructions, the ABC schools, but you have to travel to do those, okay? There's some cost and that as you do that. But if you can sit in your living room in your pajamas and you can just log on, perfect world. Sit there, drink your coffee. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take a phone call. You can stop at any time. So it's not necessarily continuous. But we want to make sure that we keep learning, we keep growing with the organization. So the point is, what can you do in order to do that? Obviously, Fall Conference, and that shows that you're being here, and I love the crowd. You know, nervous here, but that's okay. We'll work through this together, right? So we're going to go over all the possibilities. How many people have actually been on the national website? Good. When you go on, if you go in and mostly you're going to log in with your member ID, and I know I had somebody who said they had a problem with that, so I'm going to look at your number. But when you go in, if you go over and hover over events, and then it's going to show the ALA Academy. And when you click that link to go into the ALA Academy, you have several options there. One of them is going to show you all the classes you've already taken. And it's going to be, you can reprint your certificates if you want. It's going to show you the classes that you started, and then you can continue. And if you're not sure what they are or want to pick another class, then one of those other options is the catalog. And the catalog is going to show you all the self-paced courses and the videos, and something called the ALA Academy. Now with the ALA Academy, there's different types of classes, and you can actually select the category whether you want the live recordings or just the ALA Academy. So there's only about 24, 25 classes. There's more coming and going all the time. So when you go into these classes, some of the basics are there. Some of them are a little more in-depth as you go through those. You want to choose those that are of interest to you, those that you're looking to gain some knowledge on. Maybe, it's just something that you want to go step by step. There is no order that you want to take these things in. You may have something you want to deal with compliance. You may want to deal with going through the basics. You may want to deal with funding. So there's a lot of options, okay? So it doesn't matter where you start. The point is to start, keep track of them, make sure you print your certificates, you turn in that information. What I want to do is go over what those classes are that are available. Obviously, one of the first places to start is in mission training. And there's a ALA 101 that covers the basic introductory course. It talks about what our mission is, and the overviews, how we're going to be there for that, what other courses may be available. That particular course, while it covers basic, is about 35, 40 minutes long. A lot of these classes have an interactive part to them. So it's going to ask you a basic question. And it's going to ask you to put things in order, to put things in a certain category. And it's, it's self-paced, so however long it takes, think about it, review it, take some notes. And then it's going to tell you whether it's right or whether it's wrong. And a lot of times it'll let you go back and then redo that. If it happens to be a video, it's not going to be as interactive, although these are pre-recorded, so there will be some portions where you will see some sort of an online survey. Excuse me. And with that survey, it's then going to give you some statistics. When this was live, it was interactive and people would comment about a certain percentage have done this or a certain percentage have not done that, and I'll give you those statistics. But you won't be actually in there to participate in that live video. You cannot fast forward these videos. So I'm 10 minutes in, I'm going to get a certificate, and it's an hour long, so I'm going to like, yeah, you can't. You can go backwards, okay? You can go back and replay it. You can replay it from the beginning, however you want, but you cannot fast forward. So, no cheating, just skip ahead to the class and, hey, I did this one, I did this one, I did this one. Give it the time, take the learning and, make your notes and you can go back. If you don't take notes, it doesn't matter. You can go back and replay it. You can retake it at any time. You can go back and print your certificate at any time. It's a great way to keep track, and National does keep track of which ones are there, and you can comment on those. There are some links where you can actually send in information. They update them at times depending on what's going on. But the one after the ALA 101, if you've gone to mission training, it covers a lot of the same things. Now there's one coming up in Nashville on February 2nd. How many people want to go to Nashville? How many people have the money and the time to go to Nashville?
I don't have the money.
Yeah, I know. And I have a conflict, so I can't go. But, yes, Linda?
Would you give us the website, please?
Sure. You want to go, there's actually two places you can use. One is anyway, for veterans. The one I actually use is legion-aux.org. And you're going to see a member sign in. And it's going to ask you for your member ID and your name. Now, if you already have a sign on, how many people here use Almus? Okay? That is going to be your same login when you go in there. So if you already have one, then that's what it uses. If you're not the Almus person, then it's going to be your member ID and whatever password you're going to set up. Good point. The next one is ALA 201, much shorter course. It's only about 15 minutes long, but it talks about effective communication and communication skills. You know, how do we get our point across? How do we stress our mission? How do we actually share who we are and what we do? And just like here, there is a leadership course. That leadership course is about living our motto for service and not self. How do we become leaders, okay? That we don't have to have a title. We can still be there and teach somebody, to mentor somebody, and go forward. Develop our personal skills and our leadership plans and how we want to carry out our mission and represent the auxiliary. That's about a 30-minute class. When you first sign on, they will not tell you how long they are until you're actually into it, so that's a good thing if you're planning your day and you get into something like I have a half hour and it's an hour class. Once you're in there, it will give you an idea of that, how long these are. That's why I'm trying to give you some idea of the time frames. Another one, and this has recently been updated, it talks about branding and why it matters. It talks about our emblem, and when the emblem can be used, what it means. It also starts on the new logo, which is why it's been recently updated, and why it's critical to our mission. We want to make sure that we put our best foot forward when we're out there representing the auxiliary. What do we stand for? Somebody's going to see the logo. How do we represent it? You're always on your guard, okay? Always carry your membership applications. Be able to answer some questions. If you're in the community and you're helping somebody out, you may see somebody with a hat, okay? And thank them for their service. Ask them that they're a member, okay? And don't forget, it's just this male members, there's female members out there too. So always do that. Be there and be present, okay? And be proud that you have your emblem and your signature on and who we are and what we stand for. Another thing coming up on one of the fifth of the basic ALA academies is culture and goodwill, okay? How do we understand our organization? What is our attitude and our beliefs, okay? Our behaviors impact who we are and how we represent the organization. So this gives you an idea of how to present our auxiliary to the community, how we represent ourselves going forward. And, explaining our mission and why it's important to us and to the community and how we can service the community. That's about a 40-minute class, talks about all the culture basics. Another one is on ALA fundraising. This particular one talks about the ALA Foundation for grants. Has anybody ever applied for a grant in here from National? No. So this goes through the process of how to do that and what the requirements are. When you're applying for a grant, and there are several different kinds, you have to be able to fund 20% of what you're asking for, and National, if it's approved, covers the other 80%. So you have to understand what those basics are, what are the things you can actually apply for, how that money can be used, and obviously it's to represent the auxiliary in our organization going forward, and how to then market that fundraiser and get the extra funds that you would need. Another class, and this was actually taught at Department Convention a couple times, I'm not sure if it's being taught this year, is on how to deal with conflict and conflict resolution. There's always members of our own family that we don't get along, members with our unit that we just don't see eye to eye, okay? And it's okay to agree to disagree, okay? But we don't want something festering where it's like, my idea is always right and yours is always wrong. We're not going to be an organization and be a unity and a family unit if we don't get along. So this course actually talks about how to resolve those conflicts, how to move forward, how to put them behind us, and so that it doesn't impact our organization. And obviously a lot of those ideas can be carried off into your own personal life. So, it fills two shows, if you will, with one class. how are we going to get along with everybody in our community, with our family, and with our organization. There's a lot on juniors. How many have a significant amount of juniors that are in their units? Okay. There's one that talks about e-learning, and it goes over the purpose of our program. Obviously, this is more geared for the juniors to take, so it's a good idea to remember to go ahead and sit down and go through this with them. Obviously, if you watch it, you will gain some tips on what they will be learning and going forward. They're where our organization needs to grow. They're our future. They're going to take our places. So we want to involve them and keep them in mind when we're doing all our training classes. Another one of the academy is on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this will explain the difference between diversity, equity, bias, and stereotypes. And everybody thinks, well, we know what diversity is, okay? We know what some biases are. And I think we all kind of fall short sometimes on stereotyping people. For instance, if you're hiring a builder and two people show up, and one of them's a female and one's a male, what are your thoughts going to be? It's like, how can she do the job that he's going to do? And this is just, simple like, and you don't realize you're stereotyping those individuals without even realizing it. So it talks about how do we do that in our organization? How do we have the equity that we make our programs, our organization as we move forward, all inclusive, okay? Everybody has the same opportunities, with the equality. Everybody can take the same classes, just like a member has 4 inalienable rights, okay? They can vote, they can make a motion. Those rights as they go forward need to be all inclusive to everybody. So we don't want to stereotype people, well, she's a veteran, so she only cares about the VA&R. Or, well, just because she has young children, she's into children and youth. Everybody has their own ideas of what they want to do with their organization, their own passion, if they will. Okay? But this is how to be inclusive with everybody and move forward so that we're not prejudging people, because we don't want to be judged. We shouldn't be judging others. And that's about a 30-minute class, but it talks about a lot of those in-depth situations. And this is one of those classes that, as you're going through, it's going to ask you to put this situation under a bias or under a stereotype. And then it goes like that wrong, redo it. And you gotta figure out where it should go. So, while it's interactive in that aspect, okay, you do learn that, I didn't think I had any bias or stereotypes, but yes, I did, So it's like how to recognize some of the faults you have in yourself and then make them go forward. So of the 9 ALA academies, you're going to get certificates on those, and 90% of these, whether it's a video or an interactive presentation, you're going to get certificates. Make sure you print them off. You can go back and do it later, but it's going to show you what knowledge you've gained, what you've done, and if you don't want to do it by yourself, do it as a unit. Do it with a friend, okay? And if you have conflict or something in your unit, go ahead and show that presentation in your unit so that we can get everything out in the open. Some of the newer videos, so these things you typically would register for if there's a new one, and I'm going to mention the new one coming up. But the big one that was just done, I think about a month ago, is now out there as a recording from a live presentation. And it was done by Lisa Williamson, who was the national president. And there were 3 panelists from the Legion side on the executive committee, and talks about Be the One, okay? Obviously, this is a passion that is a lot in the forefront right now, with the number of veteran suicides and that, and how can we be there for them, and what does it matter how are ways to do that or identify those that need help. The panelists talked about the fact that, we have a race car that we sponsor. Is everybody aware of the race car? It says Be the One. Great advertisement, you know, nice logo, runs around the track. And you think, we're paying for this? Why would we spend that kind of money? The situation is that, I guess the number was, it's worth, don't pay this, $90 billion worth of advertisement. The number of people that see that, the number of people are there. And that's great. But if you're at a racetrack, they have either a trailer or a bus or some sort of a unit there with all kinds of information, also all kinds of help. And what actually transpires can be life-changing, is life-changing. There was a gentleman that stood outside that trailer pacing back and forth in St. Petersburg. Finally, somebody went up to him, and this was obviously the Department of Florida, and spoke with him and asked him to come sit down. Found out that he was ready to commit suicide that day. He has not only not done that, he's done, I think, about 7 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it just had enough. He is now a member in District 1. He's also a rider in District 1, because that's one of his passions. And every time he comes back from overseas, he's active in the community and active in that post. And this actual bus at that racetrack and talking to those people made that difference. And it's to make the aware, how do we destigmatize mental health? And we know that mental health is rapid through a lot of the younger generation, okay? So it's not just the veterans who may have PTSD or feel alone, but you know, how do we help them? Maybe they just need somebody to talk to. Maybe they need a job, okay? They have no place to live. So whatever you do, you can be that one. You can be that one person. And this video goes into the ways of how to identify that, what you can do, and how you can actually make that difference. So it's a very moving presentation. How many people send out troop boxes? Send things overseas, troop boxes, okay? Another one is on mastering military shipping, called Ship Thrifting. So it talks about how we can benefit through the provider ship thrifting to our members, a lot of things that we send overseas. We have a lot of costs dealing with this. So if we can save money with our shipping, that means we can actually send more, we can help more. And so this is just a way of actually showing us how we can either save money or we can send more with the same amount of money that we would normally be spending. Then we talk about mission delivery. This one is on basic training. Now, if you've taken the ALA 101 and the ALA 201 or gone to mission training, this is a live video of a similar course. It's about a 45-minute video, so it cuts down, but it's the face-to-face training that would have been provided if you attended one of those. So it's kind of like if you don't want to take the initial class, okay, you can do the video. Maybe if you like the video, you want to go back and actually take the other courses for the basic training. A new one that's out there that I hadn't seen is on VAVS, which is VA Voluntary Service. This one talks about those who will become certified from a veterans organization, but it's where we would go in and maybe through VA&R we're going to nursing homes and different things. And that's so we can help, whether we're doing bingo there, where we're having some social hour, whether we're providing things for food pantries, whatever. But this talks about those who will actually be certified in helping those organizations. So it will not give us that certification, but we understand that voluntary service for the VA and what they can provide. How many people have Facebook pages, TikTok, Instagram, for units, terrorists, whatever, okay? What is out there on utilizing social media and the advantages for the unit, which obviously can be for district or for chairs or any of the things that we want to do. So it talks about what are the better ways to do it, okay? Are you going to put a graphic up? Are you going to have a very long spiel and people get tired of reading because it says more, okay? How do you grab people's attention? Are you doing events where you can actually click and say, yes, I'm going to attend? So it gives you ideas on what are the most thought-provoking, what's going to keep people's interest, what's going to keep people coming back to your page. How do you be creative in doing this? Make sure that you're doing it on a consistent basis, not like, well, I put one out this month and it's going to be 3 months and then I post again. Send out meeting reminders, keep everybody interested in what's going on. One of the statistics on there is, while there's always new platforms, and I typically only use Facebook because that's the only one I know how to use. That when you do this, there is 80% people that actually are responding more to Facebook. Obviously, we want to hit the younger generations and everything, with their juniors coming up, and they're going to hit more towards Instagram or TikTok. I know our national security department, she hits all the platforms, and I'd love to do that, but I have a learning curve that I have to get over. It's something to do with someone of my age, but anyhow. The idea is to make sure that we are consistent with sending our message and sharing what we do. And if we can advertise it, great, we're having a Veterans Day service. Let's let them know. This is it, who can attend, what are we going to provide? After the fact, follow up, put pictures out there. This is what we did for the community. This is where we were with poppies, this is what poppies mean to us. So if we can actually follow up and show what our community as an organization is actually doing, we're going to gain more interest and have more feedback and have people come join us, whether they attend the event or actually then come and participate, even if they're volunteering. That may be their passion to help do something like that. Another one is on compliance, okay? Now this is geared with a video that talks about the 990s. What is our physical year? What are those reporting requirements we have to do? And everybody in the state of Florida is going to have their physical year, excuse me, aligned with the department of July 1st through June 30th. Now along with that, we have to file those 990s on the 5th month and the 15th day following the end of our fiscal year. So that means November 15th. So how do you do it? Where do you do it? What is going to be on there? Yes?
I'm sorry, I'm late. I got lost.
Yeah.
I need paperwork?
Yeah, I will.
I'm very sorry. Thank you.
Excuse me. We'll take one of these back over to that. As I explained, thank you, Tammy. A lot of this information is to take notes. The difference in all the 25 or so classes is not in detail, so you can take notes on those that interest you and how to find them. And we can talk more afterward. It talks about if you don't file your 990s, okay, and what your tax exempt status is, you're going to lose that. Not only lose it, you may be fined. Could be $600, could be thousands of dollars. And how do you get that back? Not the money, but your tax exempt going forward. So the importance of doing these forms and being in compliance in those matters. There is also a update on the department website, which is alafl.org. If you go under quick links, forms and resources, there's a new compliance document out there that talks about all the things you need to do. I'm not sure if it includes your Department of Ag form and that is particular to Florida, because on national, obviously not every state is going to have that requirement. But it talks about what you have to file, when you have to file them, and that document has just recently been updated. Another one is on using poppies. How do we work our poppy program? Where do those funds go? What are the requirements? And I just recently posted something on the leadership Facebook page that your poppy compliance for sending your forms into department are due 30 days after Veterans Day. So if everybody's unaware of that, you know, you need to get that done. Obviously, when we hit Memorial Day and those things, that's going to be turned in at Department Convention before that, so that we have our registrations available. But you know, one of the things with poppy monies that's new, and this updates that, is that you can actually use those funds now for honor flight. So it talks about, you know, where we can use the funds, you know, how do we support those veterans in need and the requirements. So we can't use poppy funds for everything, and we need to keep them separate as far as our treasurer spreadsheet, even though they're all in the same account. Another one deals with unit fundraising in our community. What are the best ways to do fundraisers, the types of fundraisers that we can actually participate in, gives you ideas for fundraisers. And keep in mind that, you know, depending how many fundraisers and types of fundraisers you have, you may be paying sales tax on that. So make sure you keep track of what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what monies you grossed, and what monies are net, so that you can stay in compliance with other things. How many attended the National Veterans Creative Arts Festival in St. Petersburg 2 years ago? I think it was. One of the other ones out there is on the mission delivery of the creative arts and how we can support that. Obviously, when it's local, we had a lot of volunteers there and the needs. But this is for veterans who help them with their social skills in a lot of ways. They may be there as an artist, they may be there as a musician, they may be there as a sculptor, okay? And it's their way of expressing themselves. And a lot of these are handicapped in different ways or serving PTSD, but it's an avenue for the veterans to actually share their skills with people. And this talks a lot about the National Creative Arts Festival. One that I wasn't aware of when I was going through this, because I've taken a lot of courses, is NFP Insurance for Real Estate Programs. And I was talking to our risk and compliance who was in the last class. This I haven't taken yet, but it talks about the insurance and coverage that we have for real estate. Obviously, if you are doing interviews and talking to the girls, the parents may be concerned about their girl attending real estate up in Tallahassee and being away, and what happens if a situation comes up, okay? Obviously, we have liability insurance. And while I knew we had liability insurance, I didn't realize it was actually a course that you could take and talks about the insurance and the coverage and that going forward. So if you're doing the Girl State program, that's something that you may want to know so you can pass on parents who have concerns about their child while they're away. There's a mission delivery for veteran services that talks about identifying the needs in the community, where they are, what do they need? Do they need volunteers to help man things? Are they doing food pantries? You know, what are the demographics within the community and how to identify those so we're helping in the right way? We always want to help, but you know, sometimes we're not doing the right thing in the right location, and So how do we identify where those needs are in our community in servicing our veterans? Mission delivery is a 45-minute one that talks pretty much about the ALA 101 and ALA 201. So if you don't want to take those online interaction classes, you could actually watch the video. And maybe by doing that, then you want to go back and do the classes. But if you were going to mission training like in Nashville or something else, this is a video of the face-to-face of what happens in that class. So that's a all-day class, okay? So this is cut down to about 45 minutes, but it's exactly the types of presentation you'll see there. One of the things I learned last year is to kind of have a menu board. So if you have a sheet of paper and it becomes trifold, and you can have on there almost like a calendar, what are your upcoming events? What is your mission? Who are your chairmen? Okay? How to contact people. And you can keep that updated. So that's just some of the things you may learn if you're actually attending those. And this is kind of just a shortened version of all those basics and the communication courses going on. Now, we talked about juniors a little bit ago and the e-learning. And while the juniors can actually go on and do that, you want to learn with them, there is also a set of 4 junior classes that are on the videos. The first one talks about how do we get started with juniors, how do we introduce them to our organization, how do they learn our mission, and how can they work our mission the way we're working our mission, how can we utilize them. The second one deals about patches, and obviously, the juniors have patches that they can do certain criteria, meet, and earn different patches. So this talks about the patch program and what they are. I'm not sure if it goes through all of them, but obviously, the juniors can learn going through that. The next one talks about how they are part of our family, how they are joining a family organization, whether it's the auxiliary, whether it's the Sons, whether it's the Post. What can they contribute? How can they be active members of our units as we go forward? And the last one talks about meetings. If we have enough juniors, they don't not only just attend our meetings, okay? They can have their own meetings. They have their own president, their own secretary, their own historian. So it's important for them to learn. They build their own little organization under us as they go forward. And I know at department convention, usually they have their own classes, they have their own activities, and then they become part and join us. But, it's a learning process for them. And I just put something out on the leadership page. I'm trying to recall it exactly. But if you tell them, they might pay attention. Okay. If you teach them, they may regain some of that knowledge. But if you involve them, they will learn. And so they are our future. And that's what we want to do, is to involve those juniors and get them through up to us, because who's going to replace us, okay? Well, we need that young blood in, okay? We need the members that are family members, okay? We need to get them involved, have them interested. So keep those programs for the juniors and get them going. The latest program, and this one you will have to register for it. It's coming out on December 7th at noon, which is not a great time for everybody, particularly if they work in the middle of the day. But it's on understanding the difference between national security and VA&R. That's one of the and it's, it will be pre-recorded and then available later. If you want to watch it live, then you'll register online, give their email address, and they'll send you the link, and you can go on and actually watch the interaction video as they discuss the differences live. If for some reason you miss it, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months down the line, it will be part of the new videos. So keep in mind that there's always new videos coming, there's new ones that are updated as they go forward. Make sure that if you take these classes, you print off your certificates. it's important that you keep track of your hours. Okay, whether you turn in your certificates to your unit leadership chair or you just give her the hours, that all counts towards the chairman's reports. That's then going to go to your district leadership chair.
We
And
should never
she's
have
going to compile
a
that.
no activity report.
And those district leadership chairs are gonna turn them into me, and then I compile and summarize for the state, so for the department, and so going forward, we'll do that. Yes, sir.
The course that you were talking about for December 7th,
Yes,
where would you register on that? On which link would you register?
it'll be on the national link, on the legion-aux.org. And you go under the, Launch Academy for, there, it should, and, if you pick up my card, there was just a post on that with that link. So you can actually then follow that link to register.
Okay.
All these hours that we turn in, remember from the leadership chair in the unit, reports, as with every program, have to be in by April 1st. District leadership reports have to be in by April 15th, so that we can complete that. We want to know how far we're reaching in our training. And leadership's one of those programs like PR that covers everything. It covers children and youth, it covers VA&R, it covers community service, okay? It covers national security. We can be a leader in any one of those, but unless we're willing to learn and then share that knowledge, and if you have the knowledge, please share it. If you don't have it, then ask. Okay, whatever your interest is, that's where you wanna go. We don't expect you to be knowledgeable on every program and every aspect, but obviously those that you have a passion for, we want to show that strength and we want to put that out there. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I do have my cards in the back, I'd love some feedback. If you have anything further you want to know or that, contact me. If you don't have the links which are there, then please let me know. We want to get as much training as we can. Hopefully you get a lot in the classes today and in the sessions tomorrow. We want to be knowledgeable, be present, and be the one. Does everybody have a lot?